Patrick Mahomes did it again. On a brisk Sunday evening that began like any other mid-season NFL showdown, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback reminded the world why he's the gold standard of modern football. For total touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, capped off another electrifying display of athletic intelligence and improvisation. But what should have been another chapter in Mahomes' growing legend turned volatile by the final whistle as frustrations boiled over and a post-game fight broke out involving at least one member of the Detroit Lions. It was the kind of night that defined both the brilliance and the brutality of the sport, dazzling plays intertwined with raw emotion. From the opening drive, Mahomes looked unstoppable. The Chiefs' offense came out humming, using pre-snap motion and creative spacing to throw the Lions' defense off balance. Mahomes worked the pocket like a maestro, shuffling left, gliding right, and delivering darts to Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, and rookie Xavier Worthy. Every throw seemed calculated, a balance between risk and reward, as if he could see the defensive scheme unfold in slow motion. His first touchdown pass, a 28-yard strike to Kelce over the middle, set the tone. It was vintage Mahomes, a flick of the wrist, a tight window, and the kind of effortless execution that makes highlight reels look routine. Detroit, to its credit, didn't back down early. Jared Goff led the Lions on a gritty 10-play drive capped by a short touchdown toss to Amon-Ra St. Brown, answering the Chiefs' early punch with one of their own. But as the game progressed, Kansas City's rhythm became relentless. Mahomes mixed in quick screens, RPOs, and play-action bombs that kept Detroit guessing. By halftime, the Chiefs led by double digits, and Mahomes had already accounted for 3 scores. The Lions' secondary looked winded, the pass rush gassed, and the body language on the sidelines told the story. This was going to be a long night in Arrowhead. The third quarter was where Mahomes officially took over. On one sequence, he extended a broken play for nearly 9 seconds before sprinting to his right and diving into the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the game. The crowd erupted, and even some of the Lions players seemed to shake their heads in disbelief. It wasn't arrogance, it was resignation, an acknowledgement that they were watching greatness in motion. Mahomes' ability to blend instinct, creativity, and sheer competitive will is something the NFL has rarely seen, and Sunday night was yet another reminder. But football is as much about pride as it is about performance. And for Detroit, the pride began to fray late in the 4th quarter. As the Chiefs coasted toward victory, the physicality ramped up. Several hard hits after the whistle drew flags, and jawing between players became more frequent. The Lions, frustrated by missed opportunities and Mahomes' dominance, began to let emotion dictate action. After one particularly chippy play, a late shove near the Chiefs' sideline, tempers boiled over. Cameras caught a brief scuffle involving at least one Lions defensive lineman and a member of Kansas City's offensive unit. Helmets flew, coaches rushed in, and officials scrambled to separate the chaos. It wasn't an all-out brawl, but it was enough to mar what had been an otherwise spectacular performance. Reports from the field suggested that the altercation stemmed from a perceived taunt after Mahomes' final touchdown run. Some Lions players felt the Chiefs were rubbing it in, celebrating too long, too loud, too close. Whether or not that's true, emotions are always raw when you've just been picked apart by one of the league's most unstoppable forces. The Lions' frustration was understandable. It came in riding momentum, only to have it ripped away by Mahomes' magic. After the game, Mahomes downplayed the incident. "It's football," he told reporters. "Guys are emotional. Compete, you battle, and sometimes it spills over. But I've got a lot of respect for that Detroit team." His calm response contrasted sharply with the fire on the field, further illustrating why he's not just an elite quarterback but also a poised leader. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid echoed that sentiment, saying, "We play with passion, but we also play with respect. Things happen in the heat of the game, but that's not who we are." The Lions' locker room, meanwhile, had a different tone. Head coach Dan Campbell expressed disappointment in the loss, but refused to use the scuffle as an excuse. "We got beat. Simple as that. Mahomes did what Mahomes does. We've got to be better. Period." Several Detroit players admitted that frustration played a role in the late-game tension, though they insisted it wasn't reflective of the team's character. One veteran defender said, "You can only get punched in the mouth so many times before emotions take over. That's not how we want to represent ourselves, but it happens." For analysts and fans, the takeaway was clear. Mahomes is still the most complete weapon in the NFL. His vision, footwork, and improvisational brilliance continue to separate him from the rest of the pack. Every season, defenses spend months scheming ways to contain him, and yet when the lights are brightest, he always seems to find new ways to dominate. Sunday night's performance wasn't just a win, it was a statement. For Detroit, the loss was a harsh reminder that to beat the best, discipline and composure are just as crucial as talent. The Lions have been a rising team under Campbell, earning respect across the league for their toughness and grit. But moments like this, where frustration boils into confrontation, can derail progress. Every playoff-caliber team eventually learns the lesson that emotional control is a competitive advantage. If the Lions want to take the next step, they'll need to channel that fire into focus. Looking ahead, the Chiefs' victory strengthens their case as Super Bowl favorites once again. With Mahomes in MVP form and the defense quietly holding its own, Kansas City looks every bit the powerhouse that's defined the AFC for years. Meanwhile, Detroit must regroup. The fight may grab headlines, but the real story is their inability to stop Mahomes when it mattered most. In a league built on parity, the margin between triumph and turmoil often comes down to how a team responds after being humbled. In the end, the night belonged to Patrick Mahomes, not just for the stats, but for the way he continues to elevate the game. He's the NFL's ultimate competitor, capable of turning chaos into brilliance and adversity into artistry. While the Lions left the field with bruised egos and tempers, Mahomes left with another reminder to the league. When he's locked in, there's little anyone can do to stop him. The fight may fade from memory, but Mahomes' mastery will echo well beyond this week. Another moment in a career built on defying limits and dazzling the world.